Good evening. It's halfway through the year, so I'm going to talk about some films that I've seen in the year. So I've been to the cinema at least once a week. I think it's at more on average this year so far. But a lot of those movies were films that had come out the previous year, but you know, were international films or whatever, so I'm not talking about them. I'm just talking about the movies I've seen this year that have come out this year and premiered this year officially, and Hitman. Alright then, I guess we'll start off with Argyle. Argyle was incredibly stupid, and I wish it was more stupid. Like, I liked it kinda at the time, but it's stupid in such a bland way. The visual effects are like fake. Every action scene has this ironic needle drop, and none of the stakes feel real. The two lead performances are like fine. I don't know why Henry Cavill's marketed as the lead. He's in this for like 2 minutes. The thing that pissed me off the most is that, and it's such a nitpick, but they say this is our song. Like, they have like their own song, and the song is the Beatles song that came out a couple months before the movie came out. The new Beatles song, it came out after the first trailer for the movie did, so clearly they just saw that and said, let's sub it in, but it doesn't make sense because it's only like 5 months old. Every dialogue scene is shot in such a boring way. There's like a twist at the end that's so obvious. Oh, I wonder who sent the email about the thing, and it's clearly the person who hadn't died, who they thought had died. Yeah, it's a stupid movie. It's blech. Matthew Vaughn is fallen off quite a bit. Love Lies Bleeding is one of my favourite movies of the year. It's much better than Argyle. I think my biggest complaint with it is that Kristen Stewart's the lead, and I'm not sold on her. She's fine. I mean, she's just a little bit, I don't even know. I think she's like bland or something, or there's something that's just like a little bit false about every way she delivers every line. She doesn't sell me on it. Same with the romance. Like, I think it's the main crux, and it ends up working in the end, but it's got kinda, I don't know, it's not a very romantic movie, particularly in the traditional sense, but which, you know, I think doesn't make the romance as potent as it could have been. But I think that roughness that it has is, people say, you know, it's like, and it was marked as this very violent, gritty movie, but it makes way for like some really funny moments. It's a really hilarious movie, and it's a shame I don't see many people talking about it in that context. There's so many bizarre little quirks to it. It's very suspenseful. Even though, you know, I didn't think Kristen Stewart was the best, I cared enough about her character to like actually really feel the odds stacking up against them, and you know, I just thought it was a really fun time, even though it's not this fun aesthetic. It's the balance it strikes is really compelling. Dune 2? I think I'm a little bit done with Dune. I saw the first movie in cinemas 3 times, and I've seen it a bunch more after that. I think I prefer that one just because there's more variety in locations and the visual palette. And that's the thing with this one, is that I do admire it for really committing entirely to just that dry, brutalist aesthetic and not breaking from it really at all, aside from the scenes on Yeti Prime, I believe it is. I thought Timothée Chalamet's performance was pretty excellent. The main scene that sticks out to me is the one where he's rallying all the Fremen and declaring himself the Hand of God, or the Witness of God, or whatever it is. And he sells that more than, if he didn't sell that, then I think the movie would have fallen apart. And he really is able to bring this commanding presence to someone who's got such a meek sort of stature, which I think is his best quality. There's a few line reads he does that I'm not entirely sold on, but it's like, I think mainly with his romance with Zendaya, who I think Zendaya is good in this movie, but she's just not, she doesn't have much chemistry with Chalamet, and that killed a lot of it, which doesn't mean that I hated their scenes together. I thought they were fine, but like, it didn't really make me feel that relationship. I think the last shot is powerful, but I didn't feel the lead up to it as much as I think I could have. Aside from that, I think the action's really, really solid, really good. I think I like a lot. I said it committed to that aesthetic. I like when it cut to that little section that's a bit of a break from that. I remember seeing it the second time, just going like, well, I gotta soak this in. Just let this part wash over me, because I know it's just gonna be sand for the rest of it. But what I really love about it is the commitment to taking the universe and all the lore and the aesthetics and taking all that so seriously and so passionately. And I just don't understand people who like can't get on board with the passion that Villeneuve shows for this. And it's way better than David Lynch's Dune. There's a few things I like about it. I swear to God there are. I think there's like a few lines that I thought were funny. I think Adam Scott is pretty funny in it. I thought there's the scene where the girls are dancing and the thing and Toxic comes on, and I was like, hey, this is fun. it's I guess I was having fun with it, who knows, but like, man, what a fucking torn to shreds piece of garbage. The premise, like the Minority Report-esque sort of thing where it shows a flashback to the future and then they've got to change it, and that tension is something that really works. But when the main character is Dakota Johnson not giving a fuck, then what, I guess I'm supposed to care? Yeah, the villain is terrible. Every line he delivers is bad. It's like dubbed. Every like fake crash zoom was so awkward. I feel like S.J. Clarkson, the director, could probably make a good movie with a more supportive studio and like more creative control, because there are some things that she tries here aesthetically and editing wise that are kind of novel and exciting, but when you're dealing with Sony Marvel, it's a dead end. And that's a real shame. It is an actual shame. And boy, Dakota Johnson's not good in this. And I like her. Like, I like her in Bad Times at the El Royale and all that, but man. This is Dev Patel's directorial debut. It's good. It's really solid. I think a lot of people had problems with how dour it is and how few and far between the action scenes are, and how a lot of them are like really darkly lit and like that it's not fun. And ultimately, I get that, and I think I have a little bit of a problem with that as well. Like, I like the comic relief guy. I think he's fun. But yeah, I think with a lot of the action, it could have been better lit and just more legible. But ultimately, it's kind of like Dune, where I really admire the film for sticking with that really dark, dingy, gritty aesthetic, and for making something that feels very soulful. I thought there's really a lot of stunning sequences in this, like the sequence that crosscuts with him training and the political rally, which just felt had a lot of hype behind it. It felt very exciting when he opens up his chest. Some of the visuals in this really captivated me. And Dev Patel, I think, was pulling in an excellent performance. His grief, his trauma, his devotion to the path he's led down was very believable and engaging. Yeah, I really can't wait to see where he goes next. In my head, I think he'd be a great Batman, because I know they're doing the DCU Batman movie, but I don't want to curse him to doing a bunch of sequels, so I always feel bad for something that isn't happening. This movie's fine. I really like the first half of it. I think the Gosling-Blunt romance, the will I won't they tension, that worked very well. It's one of my favorite Emily Blunt performances. I think Gosling is hilarious in it. He's got a million great lines. I love the glucose line.
Tom, you need carbs! Your brain runs on glucose! For simple cognitive functions, you need them.
I think a lot of the action, I thought the club scene looked great. Yeah, there was a lot of great stunts, but a lot of it was actually done for real, and it's so digitally smoothed over that you just can't tell. or I couldn't at least. And it doesn't feel as visceral as, you know, they claim doing it for real really does. The second half, when they resolve that drama, because I kind of admire it for not continuing that relationship drama, like oh, why are they gonna do it, and they just resolve it. I appreciate doing that, you know, because it's unique. They don't just continue that until the end when they decide to make up, but it does kind of leave the movie lacking a bit in terms of drama. You just have like the basic plot about the double crossing and trying to find Aaron Taylor Johnson and all that. It feels a bit bland. Also with the visuals, like I think with the day scenes especially, everything is yellow for some reason. There's no blue skies. Like look at like Furiosa, you know, or Challengers. Like they were able to extract very vibrant color palettes out of just the desert or just unique sort of mundane situations, and this wasn't really able to. Ultimately, it's fine, fun, diet Shane Black. I know this was written by Drew Pearce, who's written with Shane Black before. It's not really the movies are back moment that it feels like to a lot of other people. I thought it was fun and fine. There's better action movies out there. I liked Bullet Train more, honestly. But Gosling's great. If you're a Gosling guy, this is for you. Now my favorite movie of the year that I just mentioned, Challengers. Challengers is so much fucking fun. Every dialogue scene is this fight. Every scene manages to get so much conflict. Every scene looks entirely beautiful. It's shot by my favorite working cinematographer, Soyombu Mukti-Prom. I think Luca Guadagnino's an excellent director. There's so many types of shots in this that I've just never seen before. This is a movie that's like a relationship love triangle movie that could feel very generic, and none of it feels generic, not to me. I love the performances in this. My favorite Zendaya performance. She's so wonderful and controlling, and I saw some people say I can't believe, I don't believe that these two guys would be falling for her. I was falling for her like immediately. And Feist is great. I loved him in West Side Story, and he's so like, he's got so much simmering under the lid, as opposed to Josh O'Connor, who's just sort of openly kind of daggy and a little bit scummy even, and those dynamics all coming together was so much fun, and how that would eventually lead to a point where it would have to physically come out with the tennis. It's like a lot of musical numbers where when you can't say something you sing it, when you can't sing anymore you dance. It felt a lot like that. It's a wonderful drama, and it's such an exciting movie. The last 5 minutes is my favorite set piece of the year, and man, it's my favorite movie of the year. When I saw it, I walked out of the theater and just went into another session playing immediately after. I love it. I have a poster of it, and I can't wait for what Luca Guadagnino and Justice have next, which is the movie Queer, which I'm very excited for. It's got Jason Schwartzman in it. I love the Schwartz. Now, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, which is another one of my favorite blockbusters of the year. It's wonderfully atmospheric. Ferric? I thought the lead was very endearing and compelling. I really liked seeing this ape discover things. I think the movie looked really beautiful. I thought all the chase scenes were pretty exciting. It never got boring, and actually felt like it went past very quick. Kind of like Challengers, which is long-ish, but felt like it went by pretty quick. This movie did not feel 2.5 hours, which it's close to. I think the ending was a little sequel baity for me, but ultimately I didn't mind it. And you know, I love the musical score by John Pisano as well. I thought Kevin Durand was great as Proxima Caesar, and seeing the world through these new ape eyes was really stunning and led to a lot of breathtaking moments. Like the thing with the telescope was just, I couldn't believe that these monkeys could be so profound, even though this is Planet of the Apes, which is what they're made for. This is probably my second favorite movie of the year, Furiosa. I love Mad Max. I think Mad Max Fury Road, which I didn't like when I was younger, but I think now is just fucking absolutely perfect. And The Road Warrior, which is maybe my second or third, depending on where I think of Furiosa on the day. But what I love about this one is that it's sacrificing a little bit of verisimilitude, believability, the very scrappy, grounded, down-to-earth aesthetics of Fury Road, so that George Miller can take the actors anywhere, make the camera go in these brand new, incredible places. The staging in this movie is incredible. The blocking of the actors, every action scene, it feels so legible. There's never a moment in all of the chaos, and it does feel chaotic, but there's never a moment where I was lost. And I think the drama's incredible. I think Lila Brown and Anya Taylor-Joy were both excellent Furiosas. I might like Anya Taylor-Joy better than Charlize Theron even as this character. I think she's such a great action star. I've never really seen that side of her before, but she's so good in this. I've loved Tom Burke for a long time, ever since I saw him in The Souvenir, so I'm really glad he's getting a lot of recognition now for this. And he's doing a great Australian accent as well. And Chris Hemsworth, of course, is really, you know, I've always loved him. Again, Bad Times at the El Royale. But, like, the fact that he's such a great villain in this, it's really wonderful to see a director like Miller using his talents in such a revelatory way. It feels scrappy in the way that Fury Road was practical, but it feels scrappy almost like the way the CG feels a little rubbery, but It's interesting how he's translating that visual aesthetic into the digital brushstrokes being more apparent. It's really exciting, and it's like nothing I've ever seen before, and, you know, I'm going to be revisiting it for the rest of my life, absolutely. I am currently expecting, I don't know when it's coming, maybe it's here, I don't know, I'll go check my letterbox, but I'm getting a Bad Boys 2 DVD. I ordered it online because that's my favorite one. And, you know, this one, the thing with the Bad Boys movies is that none of them capture just the truly fucked up, demented quality that Bad Boys 2 has. Because the first one's like a kind of a concept movie where it's like they have to pretend to be each other. But then the second one is this weird, like, David Lean-esque epic about corpses that blows it up to infinity. It's this fucking bizarre film, and the last two Bad Boys movies by Adil and Bilal, what they do is they embrace this sort of Bay-inspired aesthetic that they have, which is very digital, a lot of like LED neon colors, a lot of black light kind of stuff, but it's not as insane as Bad Boys 2, and I'm fine with that. Ultimately, I think the new Bad Boys movies, they're good dramas, and I think they're fine. They're nice, you know. Again, they're not as crazy as Bad Boys 2. They're just kind of nice movies. There's a lot of like Dutch angles and drone work in this one. I thought the action was a big step up. It was really cool how they incorporated drones into this, and the saturated, plasticky kind of aesthetic. What they did with the, you know, the snorri cam, that whole thing was really awesome. But ultimately, I think there's some problems with this one where a lot of the drama feels like it's just running off from the second one, but not really building on it. There's way too many characters in this. Like, these films work because it's Will Smith and Martin Lawrence's chemistry, and when it is that, the movie's good. I like the whole visiting the afterlife shtick that Lawrence has in this one. But like Vanessa Hudgens and her big man, or, you know, her boyfriend, and then Will Smith's son, and Rhea Seehorn, and then Rhea Seehorn's daughter. There's like so much drama in this that just feels like extra baggage. The drama isn't what makes the movies excel, you know. I think Bay was able to do in one shot, the one push in when Mark's sister's been kidnapped, was able to put more emotion in that than I think these entire movies have been able to do with like their big dramatic finishes where it's like, oh, maybe I should kill you, but I love you. It doesn't work as well. It doesn't feel as visceral. I have no idea why Mike doesn't marry the woman who in the last movie they were just like incredibly teasing as to him marrying. But you know what? It's fun. It's just a fun time. It's a good 2 hours. It's not exceptional, but it does some exceptional things. I thought the plane crash was cool. It does a lot of new stuff for a Bad Boys movie, even if a lot of it doesn't work when it comes to like the relationship dynamics of it. Oh, Hitman. I forgot to talk about that one. And finally, Hitman, which premiered last year but came out on Netflix this year. Man, what a good movie. I love the chemistry of it. I need to do A Quiet Place. I really like Glenn Powell. I think he's a great movie star. He's got so much charisma and charm in this. He balances all the different personas so well. Adria Jonah, Will You Marry Me? But also, you know, she's charismatic as well. She's so much fun. I loved her in Andor, and she's great, and also Will You Marry Me. I liked Austin Amelio as well. He was very scummy and pulled off that character very well. The thing about this movie, it's very low-key, which it's not marketed as. It's marketed as this big, broad comedy where, like, people are gonna die all the time, and Glenn Powell's constantly putting on wigs, but that's not what it is at all. It's just this fun little romantic comedy about finding yourself or making yourself into who you want to be. I liked, because of how low-key it is, that it had a lot of tension in the third act, basically from the notes app scene, which is such a good scene. There's so many funny premises, so many funny scenarios going on. It does look a little visually bland, unfortunately, but ultimately it's very fun and very charming, and I'd recommend it. And you can watch it now on Netflix, because no studio wanted to buy an $8 million movie that would definitely make its money back, starring one of the biggest movie stars up and coming right now, because Hollywood is stupid. Finally, A Quiet Place Day 1. Really human drama, which I guess I was kind of expecting, but not to this level. You know, it's way more like Pig, which is Michael Sonorski's previous film, than the last two Quiet Place movies, which I thought were okay. But this is definitely the best one. Lupita Nyong'o is so expressive with her eyes. You know, Anya Taylor-Joy gets a lot of that credit for being very expressive, but she's so incredible. Joseph Quinn, I like a lot. I thought his fear was very palpable. I like the little kitty. I like Schnitzel. This is fun. Gandalf, I think the movie name was. Reminded me of my old cat, rest in peace. It had enough tension in the horror scenes, and you know, it does have the same problem with the other Quiet Place movies where, like, there'll be this gigantic sound that the monsters don't react to. In the last scene in this one, there's like car alarms going off, and then someone just kicks a beer can, and then everyone's just like, then the monster's just like, what the hell was that? It's like, come on. And the fucking fire, like the car alarms, what's going on? A can? That's what got you? But ultimately, where this one shines is how it builds upon Nyong'o's character accepting her death, and how it's able to build up that dynamic of her and Quinn helping her sort of realize to live a little bit again near the end. That's very touching, and it's got a very touching ending that for some reason is almost the exact same as Perfect Days, but with a Quiet Place monster. I don't know why. Don't ask me. It's just a very funny coincidence, I guess. Quiet Place Day 1, great movie. And that's all the films from this year I've seen this year. I've also seen like Monster and La Chimera and Evil Does Not Exist, but I am tired and I want to edit this quickly, so I want less footage to edit. Okay? We have fun, don't we? Sorry I couldn't review The Bike Riders in time. Or, you know, some other movies that came out, like Horizon, but I guess I'll talk about them at the end of the year, if I'm still alive or care enough. Goodbye.